great example of how advanced Netherlands and all those the hospitals there are for pharmacogenomics. So advanced that you can go to the pharmacy and ask for an antidepressant even without prescription. Because Ron went there and said, I am depressed, and in the meantime I'm on a C36 or metabolite, so give me the drug. So it's really advanced, but I would like now to take a step back and really see the work that is needed to achieve the last step of clinical application of genetic testing. And there is definitely in oncology, like Manu said, a major need for improving not just the way we use biomarkers to personalize medicine, but probably very importantly also improve the success of oncology drug development. If you look at all the different therapeutic areas, then it's pretty clear, it's pretty clear that, it's very clear that the oncology drugs have the lowest success for being approved. You see here, for drugs that are in the phase 1, there is a 7% likelihood that those drugs will reach the market, will be approved. It goes better, 28% in phase 2, and 45% of the drugs that reach phase 3 will be eventually approved. So it's definitely an area of major improvement that is needed, and particularly relative to the other therapeutic areas that do much better for approval. So the NCI has launched, and NCI stands for National Cancer Institute, has launched for several decades a major initiative, such as to create a network of cancer centers. And this is divided in different groups. You see here there is Alliance, which we will be discussing primarily because I belong to this association. SWOG, ECOG, Energy, and even Canada contributes to this effort. These are networks of cancer centers that converge into a standardized, centralized operation for clinical trials in oncology. There is a group also that is focused on childhood oncology. All these others here are for adult diseases. I was reading this article recently published in New England that says genome sequencing during a patient journey to cancer. This is November 28th of this year, 2019. And it says that for the personalization of cancer care, it is important to collect, aggregate, or share data. For this purpose, we require national and international initiatives to amass patient data from clinical care innovation in data storage and access. So it's clearly a major emphasis that is, I think, met by the NCI to converge into a centralized operation, large network of cancer centers that can be used to advance, number one, patient care, more importantly, improving the development of new drugs for cancer. This is the geography of the National Cancer Trial Network. You see all the cancer centers that are involved. We're talking about 3,000 institutions in the US, 14,000 investigators being involved, 20,000 patients that are enrolled annually for the clinical trials. And you see the clinical trials here are mostly late phase 3 and phase 2. There is a little bit of phase 1, but it's mostly phase 3 clinical trials and phase 2 clinical trials. In the US, if you want to apply for grants, and for a phase 3 clinical trial, there's no grant mechanism that the NCI will allow you to apply. You have to go through this network and you run the trial within the network. So 1955, you see that is a clear example here of a trial that compared two regimens of combination for chemotherapy in acute leukemia. And this is for acute lymphoblastic leukemia, ALL, in the childhood, so this is pediatric leukemia. This is the study that led to the understanding that continuous therapy versus intermittent therapy was much better, much more efficacious for this disease. And now this is standard of care, and it is curative care. Right? So this therapy can cure children with ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and this was one of the first clinical trials they used this network, 1955. Okay, so what is the Alliance for Clinical Trials in Oncology? The purpose is to reduce the impact of cancer using a community of scientists and clinicians that are committed to discovering, validating, and disseminating strategies for prevention and treatment. The emphasis is mostly on treatment and less on prevention. The treatment of the patients is standardized. The monitoring is also standardized. We have standard statistical management that is centralized. Information technology is also part of this quality controlled approach, ethics review, and drug delivery. So this really guarantees high quality data and high quality information coming from the clinical trials. The clinical annotation is curated. We have a centralized biobanks where all the samples go. And so we have thousands of biospecimens collected for each individual clinical trial. So what are the opportunities? This is what I mentioned in the title. What are the opportunities this type of networks might create? So first of all, the main opportunity is that we have access to big data or even dense data, meaning that within clinical trials, perhaps we are talking about 10,000 patients because one disease type is not diabetes or hypertension as a disease, but nevertheless, within perhaps 800 or 900 patient trials, we have a lot of phenotypic and genetic data and genomic data. We can do integrated science, we can go across different diseases, across different markets, across different therapies, across different molecular markets, where I'm really understanding if there is any commonality across all these elements. The key example and the most clear example is that now we have tumor agnostic biomarkers. If you think about microsatellite instability as a marker for immunotherapies, the microsatellite instability is an alteration that occurs in the tumor, so many different tumor types. And so now we have drugs that are approved towards a molecular alteration and not for a particular indication for one disease only, so for multiple tumor types. The goal is also to come up with a new taxonomy of cancer, a new molecular stratification of patients and tumors, which is happening. We also can look at specific different endpoints. If you look at safety, we heard about DPYD, and so this definitely provides a great opportunity for testing hypotheses on safety, toxicity of drugs. Definitely the alliance and these networks are instrumental to improve safety, survival, quality of life, extremely important as an endpoint, economical considerations on drug usage, and patient-reported outcomes as another way of looking at one endpoint. It's very often the case that what physicians report for the side effects of the medications are different in entity, scale, or magnitude from what the patients experience. So there is now a new field of reporting the side effects directly by the patients, not by the nurses or by the clinicians. It's also a great platform, I think, for training new generations for understanding molecular oncology, genetics, and genomics. I think we hear more and more that there is a huge gap between what we know as scientists and experts in the field of pharmacogenomics versus what the clinicians know and the pharmacists know. So what is the flow? There is applied in translational science. We have access to clinical trial and data specimens. We apply genetic and genomic technologies. We associate with outcome. We do functional validation with experimental testing in vitro. And then we can go back to the clinic. We can run gene or targeted or mutation-driven prospective clinical trials, trying to see whether stratifying patients by target will give an advantage in survival. So one example I want to give you, this is a lot of words and a lot of show, but I want to give you clear examples as to what we have been able to achieve in the Alliance for Clinical Trials in Oncology for one single trial. The trial in question is CGP-8045, a study that over the span of 10 years has treated more than 2,000 patients with colorectal cancer, treated with what is now the standard of care. Patients with first line, patients that are newly diagnosed with colorectal cancer in the clinic today are treated with these chemotherapies and either cetuximab or bevacizumab. The study compared these two, whether cetuximab and bevacizumab were superior to each other. The study was negative, meaning that 30-month survival was achieved by both combinations, but it provided a huge opportunity for new discoveries, and I'm going to show you some examples. The first one, and I was lucky to be the driver of this work, is a mutational analysis in this patient group. So we looked at tumor mutations in the patients, and we identified new roles for microsatellite instability and tumor mutational burden. Let me give an example here. Patients that have microsatellite instability high status, these are tumors that are highly unstable genomically. They have a lot of mutations and they have a lot of indels, for example, not just single mutation. They occur in 7% of the population. You see here the group with the microsatellite high versus the patients that have stable tumors. You see a very clear difference in efficacy. Patients that have the unstable tumors respond much better to bevacizumab and not to cetuximab. Okay? So it's very important finding for using this microsatellite instability as a marker to drive response, improve response. Another study here that was done in the adjuvant setting, so not in the metastatic disease, but patients that are not metastatic yet. This is showing again very similar signals, such as patients that are treated with bevacizumab versus patients that are not treated with bevacizumab benefit much more if the patients are microsatellite unstable versus the stable group you can see here. So very important study that corroborates it. Tumor mutational burden. If you measure the number of mutations in the tumor, you can achieve this number, which is number of mutations per megabase of sequence being sequenced in the tumor DNA. And you have an understanding of how many mutations there are in the tumor. This is a very important biomarker for immunotherapy. We know that patients that have a high mutational burden, they respond much better to immunotherapy. That's pretty clear in many diseases, in particular in non-small cell lung cancer. What we see here is that patients that have a high number of mutations in the tumors actually survive longer than patients that don't have a high number of mutations in the tumor. Perhaps here the immune system is working much better, is interacting better with the therapies, because a lot of new mutations, a lot of neoantigens that are produced, and so the immune system is reacting to this environment that is synergic with chemotherapy. Perhaps that's our interpretation. Another important paper that recently published in JCO 2019 is this time looking at RNA signatures instead of DNA signatures. And so we know from before, from the studies in the adjuvant setting, published in National Medicine 2015, that now there are 4 different signatures in colorectal cancer that you can distinguish and identify by mRNA analysis. The so-called consensus molecular subtypes. This is becoming pretty standard and can direct also therapy and selection of most effective regimens. Let me give you just a quick overview. CNS1 is the one that is enriched for immune infiltration, is also enriched for MSI high. It's characterized by BRAF mutations and again immune infiltrations here. CNS2 is the one characterized by Wnt and MYC activation. CNS3 is the metabolic one, characterized by metabolic regulation, enrichment for KRAS mutations. And the CNS4 is the mesenchymal one, the one that is characterized by the epithelial to mesenchymal transformation and enriched in TNF-beta activation and angiogenesis as well. So, we wanted to test in the metastatic disease in TK0405 whether using the CMS classification changes the survival of the patients, and it does. So patients with MSI high have shorter survival, patients with, CMS1 have shorter survival, patients with CMS2 have the best survival. The other 2 groups are in between. How does this affect the efficacy of the bevacizumab and the cetuximab, the targeted therapies? Well, you see here, if you ignore the top part, the patients that have CMS1 in their tumors, they respond better to bevacizumab. Patients that are CMS2 respond better to cetuximab. I'm going to show you a couple of my plots right now. This is CMS1, patients with bevacizumab survive longer, cetuximab less. Patients in CMS2, you have cetuximab response and less response to bevacizumab. So these studies again inform what therapies will be given based on mRNA profiling of the tumors. Now, correlative studies and translational science is not just molecules, it's not just DNA and RNA based approaches. What is very important in the context of the clinical trials is collect prospectively data on lifestyle of the patient. And so giving questionnaires to the patient prospectively can give us a lot of information and a lot of data. And so this study has shown again in 80405, again in JCO very recently, that physical activity was actually associated with survival and also less toxicity in these patients. You can see here, this is the risk of progression-free survival. So the higher the number, the higher the risk of progression-free survival. Here we are talking about different amounts of regular physical activity measured by metabolic equivalent tasks per hours per week. So if you exercise more, if you have colorectal cancer, then you survive much more. You see that the more physical activity, the lower the risk of progression of disease, as is demonstrated here. And also, the more physical activity, as here dichotomized, more than 9 metabolic equivalent tasks per hour per week versus less than 9, actually gives less risk of side effects of the therapies. We published also other studies with this clinical trial. We published a study showing that baseline levels in plasma of vitamin D is also associated with better survival of patients. Higher vitamin D in the plasma of patients, better survival. We also use the genetic data for the study of whole exome sequencing for hypertension induced by bevacizumab as one of the side effects of bevacizumab, and we also published this paper as well. Very recent data that were presented at ESMO have looked at many more genes. We use foundation medicine. The data that initially showed looked at just 10 genes. Now we're looking at 400 genes, and we do next generation sequencing in these 400 genes in the tumors of these patients. One highlight I want to give is that when the tumors are mutated for RNF43, this gene involved in the Wnt pathway, and they happen in 6% of the tumors. Again, you can see that there is a very strong differential effect between cetuximab and bevacizumab. Patients treated with cetuximab with mutated tumors do very bad, they survive very shortly amount of time. Patients treated with bevacizumab and they are mutated in their tumors, they do much better. So see what kind of information these approaches can give you. So there is obviously a huge amount of work still to be done. We look at the whole genome sequencing, 80405, methylation sequencing. We have circulating tumor DNA information that we are analyzing. Now the field is really switching from looking at the tumor and biopsies, even from the primary tumor of the metastatic sites, from that approach to look at the blood and see what tumor mutations are in blood and how we can use the blood instead of the tumor tissue. We're looking at plasma levels of vitamin D and other genesis inflammatory proteins. We are doing RNA-seq analysis and looking at how immune signatures might affect the survival of patients and the efficacy of therapy. We are measuring Fusobacterium nucleatum as a key bacterium for potentially survival, and we are measuring this in the tumors. We are going to approach using machine learning multi-integrated approaches as well to understand the correlations among all of these different dimensions. And we're looking at GWAS for toxicity and survival as well. And again, this is a fantastic platform for the junior investigators that can take these projects, run them, and publish and understand translational science. I want to give a special thank to the patients, obviously, that have trusted us as scientists, have signed their consent for allowing the use of the specimens and the tumors. And of course, I want to thank Dr. Monica Bertagnoli, the chair of the Alliance, and her vision and all the great work that she was able to establish. It is the site for the Alliance for Clinical Trials in Oncology, and if you have any questions, that's my email address, and I'll be more than happy to address. Thanks a lot.